Welcome to another video from Fantasy Legion. Alan Sean back again with our next rookie,
Good to
Jalen
be back.
Reagor. Jalen Reagor this time.
Well,
Wide
if I
receiver.
could put the shades on half and half, I would here. This is a guy who he's okay. Why he's going so high on Fantasy Pro to draft board, I have no idea. I don't get it. There are much better candidates. This is a deep rookie wide receiver class. He's all right. He's going to need the perfect landing spot. He's a gadget player, does a bit of everything, can run, can catch, can punt return. He's okay.
He's another one. He's another one that's, he's all about the speed. He's a deep threat.
Yeah.
A lot of people have, labelled him one-dimensional. He's got speed, downfield speed, deep threat. A few others arguing that he actually makes really good catches when clutch catches, and his hands are better than people think, and he's not as one-dimensional. But I don't know.
He's actually probably one of the more difficult wide receivers to really rank with any real skill because he's a junior coming out, so he hasn't had a huge body of work. They used him all over the field, and that can be good, but they weren't really settled on anything particular. So he did punt return. He actually rushed quite a bit. He had 2 rushing touchdowns at college. He's all over the place, and therefore I think he's more a wide receiver to at best at this point in the career chart. He's still got a lot to learn. He is a real project. Now
he is a stretch field guy, though, isn't he? So he can open up offenses. Do you want me just to talk about the visits of the team?
He can open up offenses, but I think there are some concerns. He's not I'm not putting the shades on for him because I just think I'm not absolutely convinced one way or the other yet. I think as a player there, I do see something in him. So I'm quite happy to sort of think, okay, let's see where he lands.
You're kind of sitting on the fence with him, aren't you, really?
For him, I think you've got to because his landing spot, like a lot of them, will be king. Some of them can get away with a bad landing spot and still produce. We've seen that many times. You can be in a bad offense and a wide receiver can shine because, they're having to throw all day. But he is one of those players that, for me at the moment, I'm really not sure what NFL teams are going to do with him.
Well, talking about landing spots, these are the teams that they're supposedly interested in him. The Packers, the Patriots, the Steelers, the 49ers, Seahawks, Titans, and Bills. So there's quite a few there. I mean, Packers would be interesting.
If he goes to Packers, he's dead because he can't break out from Devontae Adams. He will be of no use whatsoever with the kind of teams they have.
Yeah, but he might stretch the field for them, so
he might. But
that's kind of what they wanted Valdez-Scantling to do. It didn't seem like he's capable.
He might, but I don't know. I mean, to me, those sort of teams, that would be very. Yeah, I'm not seeing it really. There's nothing there. I mean, that tells you everything, doesn't it? I mean, he's going to have to feel right, and he needs. Yeah, I could see maybe working opposite Adams, and if he can break out of the pack, obviously that has a value in Green Bay. Of course it does, but see. For me, Adams can do everything anyway. Adams is a great player. All he really needs is a wide receiver that can give him that, kind of production that wide receiver 2 needs to do. Somebody can work opposite him, get open, and give the quarterback an opportunity to throw the ball to the open wide receiver. I think this guy could do that because of his speed. I think his route running is okay. He's one of these, you'll go, yeah, route running, okay. Ability to go deep, okay. Speed, pretty good. Overall, he's just over the average mark, 6.5, I would say 6.5, and there's nothing wrong with that because sometimes those guys can become much better than you thought. But he really is in that really horrible little grey area where I'm not sure how to rank him. But at that price that people are paying for him, I won't pay it because it's just
it's
nothing
a good, honest assessment. I think of him really. I mean, you never know with any of these players, but you can kind of see. We'll know a lot more after they land. You can kind of see where they might fit in.
Could get lost really quick, couldn't he? He could get lost.
I mean, the Titans could be interesting because it doesn't sound like they want to keep Corey Davis. I don't think they're going to take his 5th-year option. Obviously, they got AJ Brown, but obviously with their play action style, a few big deep balls to him could be kind of interesting, I guess.
It could be good there, yeah, because
and if you stretch the field, obviously you open it up for Derrick Henry as well. So,
well, I think the Titans would be a team that can. I think you're going to see more this year in the NFL. So that's a great spot. I'm glad you mentioned it because for him there, that might be about the right kind of spot because if the Titans run more 3 and 4 wide receiver packages and sort of what I would call traditional go routes, so going deeper, stretching the field, but forcing those corners and safeties back, it's going to open a running game up. And also it's going to be the odd big play where you could, drop 3 short, let 1 go deep. And for him, that could be the perfect scenario for him, because then he can use his blazing speed. He's got above average catching capability for me. He's okay. Again, he does make some great plays up in the air, contested catch. He does come down with some good balls, but it's with a certain kind of quarterback. And again, it depends on the landing spot. It's so important for him. And I could see him being good. I could equally see him being lost very quick. So he's very polarizing. He's in that unfortunate little gap for me where I'm not sure on him yet. But I know the landing spot will tell me everything I need to know. And I'm not sitting on the fence completely. It's just that I've been very clear on a lot of these guys. But with him, yeah, I'm not seeing anything that really excites me, and I've seen nothing that's really bad. So I'm not worried that he hasn't got everything. Some of it you can see he's a very coachable guy. He can beat press coverage. He can do some of the route tree well. Some of it's very poor. So there's some work needed. But it's not a complete project.
Which bits does he need work with then? With the
I love the top end of the tree. So as you've already highlighted brilliantly, when he gets deep, using his speed is fantastic. It's the short stuff that's so important in the modern NFL. The ability to get open quick and get the quick pass. Whether you're working out of a slot, with his speed, going out of the slot should be a given. But I'm not seeing that yet. And I need to see a little bit more of the fundamentals before I give him an absolute A-grade class rating. There are many other wide receivers here, we haven't talked about them yet, easily can outperform here. These guys can easily be. I'll be talking about a few that I could say could easily be number 1 of this draft class that we've not talked about them yet.
Let's say, hypothetically, he went to, say, the Packers, and everyone's going to say he's a new wide receiver 2 for the Packers. His price is going to ride. Would you buy into him then?
Well, let's think back. I mean, there's been, 4 or 5 years now where the Packers really haven't had a wide receiver 2. You have to go back to when Cobb was in his heyday, and that didn't last long.
A while ago.
That didn't last long. We all know the value of a wide receiver 2 in Green Bay. Of course, it's immense. But could we also make a counter-argument that we would...
Do you know who their best wide receiver 2 was in recent years?
I don't even want to know.
Adams would be their best wide receiver too. When they had what's his name that retired, then Jordy Nelson.
Yeah.
And then since they lost Jordy Nelson, well, not lost, but he retired and got injured, didn't he? He lost his speed.
Yeah, and Adams.
They haven't really had two wide receivers since then, have they?
No, and it's been a while, and not only that, but you could argue that the big thing that's kind of been masked, and we'll talk about this in future videos, is the decline of Aaron Rodgers. There is a definitive, people won't notice it, but there's a gradual end of career decline. And it mustn't be that unobvious that the end of the road is coming, whether it's 2 years or 3 years from now, it's coming. And it's possible that it ends quick because he's one big injury away, and decisions now could have huge impacts for the Packers really short term. And there's some concerns for me. I mean, he could be really good. Could be really good there, this kid. But
definitely, Rodgers seems to be. Well, they're talking about drafting another QB. Green Bay are high on another QB in this draft, so somebody that Rodgers can nurture for a few years. But he can't stay back up forever. Do
you think Rodgers is the nurturing kind?
No, I think Rodgers is the sort of perfectionist that wants to be good, wants to do everything right. Everything has to be done right, sort of player. I mean, he's an immense talent.
He's been brilliant, but his last few years there's been some problems, and it's not all down to him.
Yeah, they've definitely gone to more of a running game, haven't they? We're getting Aaron Jones more involved now.
But if we come back to your man for a minute, he would be a good fit there potentially, yes, and it would be an interesting fit. But I just think it's very much a graveyard now for wide receiver 2s because you really, Rodgers can quickly get cold of you. And that's very telling of the quarterback. They're not lasting very long. Only one guy has managed to make the grade for Rodgers in the last few years. There's been a lot of wide receivers that it's been a death knell. We thought there was fantasy gold there, all of us. And I think if I'm honest, if I'm putting my analytical head on, if he goes there, I suspect his career will be over quicker than you think. They
did sign Devin Funchess as well. Anyway, we're talking about Jalen Reagor here, aren't we? So, you know, interesting. Again, if you've got any thoughts on it, leave them down in the comments. You know, give us a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it, and subscribe if you're not already. And
Take
thanks
care.
very much for watching.